Good evening from wherever you are watching us from. This is Lookup News. I am Nancy Nelima, and our sign language interpreter for tonight is Philista Adundo. We have lots of stories that we have prepared for you. Our team of reporters has been working around the clock just to make sure that you are on the know on matters that are affecting you and stories that are making headlines across all of 47 counties. Before we get into what we have prepared for you tonight, here is what you can expect. Tonight on Lookup News.
I can tell you how pilots were being sent to Brazil to go and bring the aeroplanes, and they would sign documents.
In an exclusive with Lookuptv, Kisii Senator Richard Onyonka tells all about the controversial ownership of Kenya Airways.
Are we going to now return to theory specifically, or university taking up courses that are a little bit easy and cheaper to implement rather than going to more, capital-intensive courses?
We break down the new university funding model as stated by President William Ruto. And a family in Laikipia seeks justice after their son was burned to death in his vehicle in unclear circumstances. Once more, welcome to the broadcast. The hashtag is Lookup News. You can catch this live broadcast across all our social media platforms at Lookuptv on Twitter, Lookuptv on Facebook, and Lookuptv on our YouTube channel. You can also send your comments and your feedback. I'll be sampling some of that as in the course of this broadcast. Let's begin. The ownership of Kenya Airways has been under scrutiny with the financial troubles that have rocked the airline for years. The conversation in the Senate calling on the prosecution of Kenya Airways officials responsible for the losses be forced to repay the funds in question. In an exclusive interview with Lookuptv's Cecilia Lubanga, Kisii Senator Richard Onyonka talks about the unscrupulous individuals who have been stealing money from taxpayers for the last 24 years through the bailouts. Take a look.
As of December last year, KQ's loss stood at a record of 38.26 billion, triggering debates on the operational and financial status of Kenya Airways that demands for a thorough probe into the cause of the losses. Kisii Senator Richard Onyonka, however, introduced a twist during the Senate debate, stating that the KQ belongs to two business entities, Serengeti Investments and Savo Holdings, a matter that raised eyebrows and created uproar on social media.
I know for fact, because I have got the facts, I can sit here and explain to you all the details about what happens. The feeling I have is that in this country, very many of us in leadership, and indeed people of substance, people who should be standing up and talking about certain things which are, even if it means they're sensitive and they are critical, we don't bother. Whether it is money that is being stolen at the county government or whether it is money that is being stolen at the national government.
The Kisii legislator stood his ground, stating pilots sent to Brazil to pick new aeroplanes from the assembly plant did not use released documents from KQ.
Pilots were being sent to Brazil to go and bring the aeroplanes, and they would sign documents. You see, when you pick an aeroplane from the assembly plant and you are flying it to Kenya, you are actually to sign a release document. When these release documents were being signed, they were not being signed for KQ. They were being signed for Serengeti Investments and for Savo Holdings. It was done obviously because some people wanted to make money. The reality is, if you check from the time when KQ started buying the Embraer planes, because there's a difference between the Embraers because they are smaller and they consume less fuel, and it was a fantastic idea for KQ and the Kenyan government at that time to put money on the side to buy those aeroplanes. But you see, what happened is when those contracts were signed, after that is when KQ started making losses. And that is the same time, if you notice, when KQ decided to join the KLM, there's the KLM, Air France, KQ, there's this organization, just like now you have the Emirates and Qatar, they have their own arrangements internally. That is the time when, you can imagine of all times, when the people who are managing KQ and the people who are managing the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority, and the people who are managing all the statutory organizations which manage our, how do I put it, who manage our airspace. That is when they sold Heathrow. That is when they sold London.
In his words, a committee has been set up in Parliament and the Senate that will probe into the allegations, where he intends to table evidence including witnesses.
State capture investments which have made our country lose money for years and years. My feeling is that some of us have to start talking about them. We understand the risks, we understand the consequences, but sometimes, so what? The reality is, they say the truth and it will set you free.
Kenya Airways posted an operational loss of 5.6 billion last year, whereas pre-tax losses incurred was more than double to 38.3 billion for the year, as foreign currency losses impacted the carrier's financial performance. The net loss also exceeded the 36 billion it lost in 2020. Senators want Kenya Airways investigated for perennially making huge losses despite frequent bailouts by the government. Cecilia Lubanga, Lookup TV.
Thank you, Cecilia Lubanga, for that very exclusive story, only here on Lookup TV. Moving on, the new government's student-based model of funding universities has received mixed reactions from different stakeholders in the country. According to the education analyst Jane Muthiga, the model will be much better if it's extended to public universities. Shadra Karevia now reports.
And unusually,
as Kenyans tries to understand the new university funding model, education stakeholders have continued adding weight into the heated debate.
Universities and TVETs will no longer receive, under the new funding model, block funding in form of grants based on differentiated unit costs. The government has resolved that university funding will henceforth be student-centered.
According to President William Ruto's pronouncement on Wednesday, the new funding method will only help needy students and not any other student as it used to be.
Students will be categorized according to 4 levels of need. Vulnerable, actually 3 levels: vulnerable, less vulnerable, and able.
According to the education analyst Jane Muthiga, the new model has both positive and negative angles depending on its implementation formula.
The negative impact is that if you are just basing the funding on the students, how about equipping these institutions? How about ensuring that they have got everything that they, prior to even an introduction of a faculty, they need basic funding to be able to do that. So are we going to now return to theory specifically, or university taking up courses that are a little bit easy and cheaper to implement rather than going to more capital intensive courses?
Jane recommends for the inclusion of the private universities in the new model, stating that they risk experiencing financial difficulties if they are left aside.
Vulnerable and very extremely needy, being fully sponsored by the government, I believe it's just the same funding that the government was initially giving to the university as a grant or as a fund. It's the same money they are now going to pick to be able to give to the university, but as school fees, as fees. So they have categorized it as fees rather than a grant.
On the implementation of the new model, Jane recommends for the right measures to be put in place to ensure that needy students benefit.
Chief is supposed to understand the community as well. But I think they also need to put the nyumba kumi aspect of it, because maybe the chief may not understand fully, or maybe fully the community as per se. They need to go a little bit deeper to the nyumba kumi formula and get that village, the nyumba kumi person, who can be able to say, yes, for sure, this particular child is it's needy among us or is vulnerable among us.
Shadra Kareria, Lookup TV.
Thank you, Kareria, for an analysis on that story and just breaking down what the university funding is all about. Now to the corridors of justice. Preacher Ezekiel Odero of New Life Church has been released on a cash bail of 1.5 million shillings after the Shanzu court ordered him to be freed due to the lack of enough evidence that would cause him to continue being in custody. Audrey Cherotich with the details.
After hours of long court proceedings,
to a bond of 3 million shillings with one surety of similar amount or an alternative of cash bail of 1.5 million shillings.
The Shanzu High Court set Pastor Ezekiel Odero free on a cash bail of 1.5 million. The prosecution team had asked the court to detain Ezekiel Odero for a further 30 days to allow them conclude investigations. The court declined the request, ordering Ezekiel Odero to appear at the DCI offices every week.
I want the Supreme Court called here. It's full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Meanwhile, the autopsy results Thursday brings the total number of autopsies done to 100, with 11 bodies remaining ahead of the exercise completion tomorrow. The death toll stands at 111.
Many of them were severely decomposed, being that 23 of them were severely decomposed, 11 were just moderately decomposed, but 2 were mild, meaning that they were not badly decomposed. The cause of death from all of these, majority we found that they died because of features of starvation, which were 23 of them. 4 of them we found that they had asphyxia. And remember, I told you asphyxia is someone who was denied oxygen prior to death. 7 of them we were unable to ascertain why they died because of the level of decomposition. Then we found a child who had head injury. We also found an adult who had a disease, chronic disease, because we found that she had a kidney and a heart disease.
Audrey Cherotich, Lookup TV.
And moving on, a family in Laikipia County is now calling on the government to intervene in the case of a murder of their son who was burned to death on Sunday in the Bantu area. The 29-year-old Samuel Kingori was murdered for allegedly transporting stolen goods from an unknown person. Phoebe Wangombe with the story.
A family in Nanyuki crying for justice after their son Samuel Kingori, 29 years old, was killed and burned together with his car on allegations of transporting stolen goods. The family has complained that despite reporting the case and the suspects being known, no suspect has been arrested so far. They claim that their son was at his regular transportation job.
Ambao wanajitokeza ambao walikuwa kwenye scene wanasema ni huyu na huyu. Hii ripoti tumepeleka kwa polisi, lakini ilikuwa kwa OC crime ambaye ni Inspector Mararo. Tukavisit pale jana, yeye amejustify ni mob injustice. Kitu ambacho alikuwa anasema ni anataka kufungua file ya inquest. Inquest kwa mada haimake, hakuna, hiyo si justice. Pale kwa hiyo venye alikuwa anasema, tumempelekea, tuko na witness, key witness, tukampea mpaka namba yake. Kuna hatua hata moja amechukua. Witness ni 2 ndio hao. Lakini yeye ni kama anataka kufrustrate kesi kabisa.
They have added that they have been denied even a copy of the OB that registered the issue, and they are asking the DCI to start the investigation of this issue before Kingori is buried.
Kama familia tuna ushughuli mwingi sana tukiangalia yale mambo yalitukizia hiyo siku ya Jumapili ambaye hatukuwa tunatarajia.
Leo tulikuwa tumepewa appointment na DCIO na I think hapo investigation sasa zitaanza vizuri na hopefully the justice will tutapata.
Phoebe Wangombe, Lookup TV.
And that story by Phoebe Wangombe takes us to a very fast break here on Lookup News. So much more on the other side. Don't go too far.
A man a symbol of strength, power, and leadership.
What does it take for a man to meet society expectations of provision and leadership?
Lazima uwe mtu wa bidii, lazima ukija kuwa lazima uwe ni provider, wewe ndio unatoa kila kitu.
In our weekly episode of Born a Man,
kusurvive kwa shule ilikuwa ni noma. Yeah, getting something to eat, bado especially in my last 2 years ilikuwa ngumu sana.
Moving from State House Road to Kahawa Ndani, where they came back to be hosted.
We embark on telling stories of what it takes to become a man in today's society, like it has never been told before.
I know men, we are cowards. Because tunaambiwa watu ati kufa kimwanaume. Kufa kimwanaume, that's nonsense.
This is the life of a man.
Why Malindi? Any idea why the A-list celebrities, politicians choose Malindi as a destination? Is it the sandy, spotless white beaches, the rhythmic, relaxing oceanic waves, or is it the great potential investment opportunity that Malindi has to offer? Dark Balance, we are here with a variety of projects from as low as 99,000 shillings. You get 1/8 of an acre with ready title deeds. Book your plot today with only 35,000 shillings and get a free return air ticket. Be the next investor in Malindi with Dark Balance. Call us now on 0740 888 111 or 0740 888 222. Dark Balance. We promise, we deliver. Why wait? 20 Malindi.
We as Novena United Circle are a society that is able to provide a platform for business startups by providing financial aid to members and creating a platform to accumulate their savings. We look for small business entrepreneurs who are starting a business venture and provide the best opportunity to expand our business niche and turn it into something big. For more information, call us on 0768 757 956 or WhatsApp us on 0734 832 430. Novena United Circle. Tuungane pamoja.
Hey darling, are we still on for a coffee date?
I'm waiting for you to come and pick me up.
I should be able to pick you in a few.
It's a coffee yogurt date?
It's not just a yogurt. It's royal coffee yogurt.
Flow with the sweet taste of thick and smooth Royal Fresh coffee yogurt. Royal Fresh, the royal taste of freshness.
Welcome back. This is Lookup News. Nancy Nelima here and Felista Adundo on the sign language interpretation. 73 tons of contaminated maize and bins from Okumu Girls High School will be disposed on Friday. According to health experts who investigated the cases of infections and deaths at the school, the officials gave a directive that the existing foodstuff be destroyed ahead of school reopening next week.
Officials have declared that 73 tons of contaminated maize and beans from Mukuyu Girls High School suspected to be contaminated are expected to be destroyed tomorrow. The destruction of the foodstuffs is expected to be done by Bamburi Cement in Mombasa, according to the report.
Bora afya, watu wa public health walienda kotini wakapata amri ya mahakama ya kuharibu hicho chakula. Tumekaa kama multi agency team tukatafuta mbinu ya kuharibu hicho chakula. Tukaona kwamba hatuwezi ichoma vile tu wazazi walikuwa napendekeza wakiwa na wengine wakati ule wa Jumamosi. Ikawa lazima hiki chakula kipelekwe pahali kiharibiwe kulingana na mujibu wa sheria na ushauri wa NEMA na watu wa public health na wengine. So tungekaribu hiki chakula hapa karibu kwa Kemri Kisumu. Lakini uwezo walio nao wa kuchoma hiyo chakula inaitwa kwa Kisungu incineration. Wanafanya tani moja kwa kila siku, tuko na tani 76. So ni kumaanisha kama tungechoma hapa Kisumu ingechukua siku 76. So baada ya kukaa tukiwa emergency team, tukaona ni vizuri hicho tukafanya survey yetu, nani anaweza kutusaidia kuharibu. Tukapata Baburi Cement kule Mombasa. Baburi Cement kwa ile CSR yao inaitwa Corporate Social Responsibility, wamekubali kwamba watatusaidia kuharibu hicho chakula kwa muda mfupi wa siku moja ama zikiwa nyingi siku 2.
The foodstuffs were on Thursday loaded in trucks for transportation in an exercise witnessed in a full glare of the public. According to the Kakamega County Regional Commissioner Samson Irungu, the process is expected to take a maximum of 2 days. Brenda Juliana, boarding mistress from the school, has since been interred.
I have lost a sister. I have lost a best friend. Anybody who took the life of my sister, anybody who sat, planned, and executed the mission to eliminate the life of my sister, vengeance is for the Lord.
Brenda died together with 4 other students following allegations of taking poisonous food. Innocent Ogaro, Lookup TV.
Thank you, Ogaro. Now in Nyanza region, a body of a public service vehicle conductor buried 2 weeks ago has been exhumed by police from Nyagusu in Nyamachi sub-county, sparking off controversy. The deceased body, Vincent Tom, who operated along Kisi-Nyangusu Road, had been found in Nyangusu Trading Center and ferried by police to Nyamachi sub-county hospital mortuary. The police obtained a court order to exhume the body after allegations of foul play surrounding his death.
Residents of Nyangusu in Kisii County were left in shock after police exhumed the body of an area resident 2 weeks after he was buried. The deceased Vincent Tom, who was a conductor, was found dead after an alleged drinking spree in Nyangusu Trading Center and his body ferried by police to Nyamache Sub-County Hospital mortuary.
Tumekuja kwa hii boma, kuna mwili uliletwa hapa na polisi kwa mortuary, lakini inaonekana wenyewe wanataka ifukuliwe iweze kufanywa postmortem ili wachue chanzo cha kifo cha huyu marehemu. Kwa hivyo tumekuja kwa hii boma tufukulie mwili tupeleke mortuary ili iweze kufanywa upasuaji, na kutoka hapo tuone ni nini iliua huyu marehemu.
Ilipata protocol nzuri, ikaenda mpaka kule kotini, wakamaliza wakatupea barua, tukaenda Nyamache sub county tukatoa mwili kwa sababu mwili ilikuwa kwa serikali, kila mtu alipiga moholi, ndio tukaenda kwa CS Nyangusu akapiga moholi, sisi yao wapiga mwili kutoka kule, tukapata barua tukaenda kule Nyamache tukaambiwa toa mwili mlete msika. Sasa tunashangaa sana, serikali inakuja nataka kuondoa mwili hapa siku ya leo, wameenda na mwili wanasema huyu mwili ukufanywa postmortem. Sasa tunasema ya kwamba sisi tunaongoja serikali ifanye uchunguzi yake venye nasema, na sababu mwenzetu aliuliwa tukampata njiani.
Controversy ensued after a mortuary attendant from Nyamache Sub-County Hospital claimed one of an undisclosed family member had tipped the police on foul play over their kin's death. This led the police to move to court and obtain an order to retrieve the body for postmortem.
Hiyo ndio tunatafuta. Mwenye iko na claim ndio tunatafuta aonekane.
Kwa sababu kuna mmoja wa familia yao ya marehemu aliweza kulalamika kwamba marehemu aliuawa, na wengine wanasema alikunywa pombe akapatikana kwa barabara amesiliwa na pombe. So wanataka kujua kuna pati mbili, mwingine akataa inasema aliuawa na wengine anasema hapana kuuawa, ni yeye ndiye alikunywa pombe ikamuua.
David Alex, Lookup TV.
Away from that, the president has today launched the Finger African app that is in collaboration with EcoBank of Kenya, acknowledging its creative step in promoting digitization and incorporation of the youth. Abigail Shearer now reports.
We have the app officially launched.
Speaking during the launch of the Finger Africa app by EcoBank, the president praised the realization of digitalization and inclusion of the youth investment through the app, which in turn will build a strong dynamic entrepreneurial system.
The single biggest asset that we have as a nation is our human capital. That human capital is 75% young. And therefore, the single biggest resource is our human capital represented by our young people.
He further stated that the plan to digitalize all government services is still on, promising that the production of smart gadgets is yet to be finalized.
6 months ago, we had only 320 government services available in the digital space. Today, we have 3,000, and I am committed that by next month, I am informed by both the Ministry of ICT and the Ministry of Interior that we will have 5,000 services by 30th of May, and by the end of this year, all government services will be available online.
The president, however, could not go without noticing the big investment in this app, thus taking time to praise the CEO and the co-founders of the same, encouraging other companies to embrace such boldness.
EcoBank, a large banking institution with Pan-African footprints, has set out to leverage digital fintech and diversify its product offering, and thus attract a young generation of digital clientele.
The Cabinet Secretary for ICT did not leave without a word of appreciation and recognition of the good work put in place by EcoBank and Fingo Africa.
Again, this is a major initiative from the private sector in augmenting efforts of government in our pursuit of a digital economy, Your Excellency. And in the same vein, I want to encourage as many private sector players as possible to augment our efforts as government so that we realize our overall vision of both a paperless government on one hand and a digital economy on the other.
The CEO of Fingo Africa took time to explain the vision and the mission of the app, stating its beneficiaries and its benefits.
By 2050, more than 1/3 of the world's youth will be in Africa. That's over 1 billion people. We are here because we do not want these young people to leave. We want them to stay here and to create wealth here. A large part of that wealth creation is in financial services.
For Lookup TV, I'm Abigail Shira.
Let's now get sporty, shall we? NCBA has today announced its partnership with the Kenya Golf Union to support the growth and development of golf in Kenya. The bank has injected 5 million shillings to 2023 Kenya Amateur Golf Championships. The partnership will see NCBA sponsor the 2023 Kenya Amateur Golf Championship event, marking a significant step towards professionalizing the sport.
Today we are launching elite golf tournaments that are going to be going across the country. Specifically, the elite golf tournaments is aimed for elite amateurs and of course pros. And what is special about this is that we'll be giving cash prizes to the winners. And so far we've held 2. We've held one in Muthaiga, and I believe we've held one at the coast. And this is it's really a build-up towards the Kenya Open, which is held.
Just playing, asking our friends and relatives to support us in going around the country to play more competitive. It makes people work on their game, work on their craft. So going forward, it can only build the game, and we look forward to it every day. In fact, I think the participation has increased because of this, and we are even having to see that the KG is starting to limit numbers because a course can only hold so many people. So it's good to see that we are, subscribing for events in full, and if you can't make it, it makes you want to improve your game.
And 8 drivers have confirmed the participation in the 2023 WRC Safari Rally Kenya only 5 days. And we've come to the end of the broadcast. We appreciate you for watching. Thank you so much. And of course, let's keep all the